It's gone, disappeared without a trace. My bag, with my passport inside, is nowhere to be found. Frantically searching, I felt the disapproving gaze of my mother-in-law, Olivia, accompanied by a sardonic smile. "You brought this upon yourself," she sneered. "A foolish wife like you, struck by divine retribution. We're leaving for America soon. Consider this our farewell." Her laughter echoed mockingly through the room. In that moment, I realized my mistake in trusting Olivia with my belongings. Her betrayal plunged me into a sense of helplessness. I am Madison, 30 years old, married to Mark for 3 years. Though we haven't yet started a family, we've built a happy life in a town near Mark's parents' home. Even after marriage, I juggled the responsibilities of a career and household, striving to balance both with dedication. It had been 5 years since my father-in-law passed away. Olivia, living alone now, frequently visited our house to criticize my housekeeping, which had become a significant source of stress. "Why don't you quit your job as a working mother? Your work isn't that important anyway. You can't manage properly, and your housekeeping is mediocre. Mark deserves better support," she would often say, running a finger along our floors. "There's so much dust here, it's disgusting," she'd add with a dramatic sigh. I'll admit I'm not the best at housework, but being accused of neglecting dusting felt unjust. I cleaned diligently every morning before work and cooked with our health in mind. Yet Olivia seemed to say whatever she pleased. Belittling me seemed to be her way of relieving stress. Every day became a struggle. Then, out of the blue, Olivia proposed a family trip, inviting us and Mark's sister's family along. Emma, my sister-in-law, was as mild-mannered as Mark, and we often enjoyed each other's company at our homes. However, the thought of traveling with Olivia made me uneasy. I had often confided in Mark about Olivia's cutting remarks, so when I expressed my reservations about the trip, he offered an optimistic perspective. "Mom wants to join us. Maybe she's trying to create positive memories with you. It could be a chance to bridge the gap and build a more open relationship," Mark suggested with a hopeful smile. "You're right, it's our first trip together. Perhaps we'll make wonderful memories and break down barriers." I agreed, buoyed by Mark's encouragement. Olivia took charge of all the planning, from choosing the destination to mapping out the itinerary, leaving us to fit our schedules around hers. "I wonder where Mom has in mind. Hopefully, it's not too pricey," Mark remarked casually. She mentioned Australia in her email. I sighed, my apprehensions confirmed. Olivia had picked an extravagant international destination without considering our financial circumstances. "Well, we can't change it now. Mom picked it, so let's go along with her choice this time," Mark reasoned. Understanding his sentiment, I managed to finance the trip from our savings. Mark, Emma's husband, and I synchronized our vacations with the trip, and soon we were ready to depart. We safely arrived in Australia on the scheduled day. Time flew as we immersed ourselves in the breathtaking natural landscapes and savored delicious cuisine. Before we knew it, it was time to head back home. "It was such an amazing trip. I even got quite a tan," Olivia exclaimed cheerfully, still enthusiastic even at the airport. "Yes, it was truly fantastic and enjoyable," I replied, trying to match her excitement. However, I couldn't shake a lingering disappointment. "What's bothering you? You seem a bit down," Mark asked, noticing my expression. "Well, it's not a big deal, but I didn't get to connect with your mom as much as I had hoped. We hardly had a chance to talk privately during the trip," I confessed. Mark placed a comforting hand on my shoulder and reassured me, "Don't dwell on it too much. We all had a great time together, and that's what counts." His reassuring smile eased my concerns. Thinking I might be overthinking things, I followed the group. "It's quite crowded here. I need to use the restroom before we board," Olivia announced, turning to me. "Madison, could you hold my bags for me? Everyone, leave your bags with her, and let's go together." She handed me her heavy luggage and hurried off. "I actually need to use the restroom too," Emma apologized, noticing my situation. "I'll take over once I'm back. Just wait here for me." Shortly after they departed, Olivia returned alone. "That was quick," I remarked, surprised. "It was empty. Now, where did you put my bags?" She scanned the area. "Oh, they're right over there." I pointed to her luggage by her feet. "Why is my expensive bag on the floor? I gave it to you so it wouldn't be set down." "How could you be so careless?" She retrieved it and held it protectively, though it was cumbersome, especially since I was still holding everyone else's bags as well. Olivia interrupted sharply. "Enough. You're so thoughtless. Why don't you go to the restroom as well? I'll graciously keep an eye on your bags. Just leave them on the floor. Your inexpensive bag will be fine, she stated arrogantly. Thank you. I'll be quick, I replied, placing my bag on the ground and heading towards the restroom. To my dismay, there was a long line when I arrived. Emma emerged shortly after. What about the bags, Madison? She asked anxiously. I left them with Mark's mom so I could use the restroom, but it's really crowded in there. This might take a while, I explained, feeling uncertain despite Olivia's assurance that it was empty. After what felt like an eternity, I finally returned. Emma was waiting for me. I didn't want to risk getting lost, so I waited for you, she said, empathizing with my predicament as she often struggled with directions. When we returned to where we left Olivia, she stood alone, and the men were nowhere in sight. Thanks for keeping an eye on the bags, I said, scanning the area. Strangely, my bag was nowhere to be found. I'm certain I left it right here. I checked all the bags, but mine is the only one missing, I exclaimed anxiously. My bag's gone. You were here the whole time, right? I turned to Olivia, my voice trembling with panic. Your bag? I don't know. Maybe it was never here, Olivia responded coldly, sending a wave of despair through me. No, I know I left it here, right in front of you, I insisted, feeling a sense of betrayal. I didn't see anything. Don't blame me, Olivia retorted dismissively. I placed it there because you asked me to. What should I do? My passport was in that bag. I cried out in distress, my mind racing. Olivia sneered at me, her smile dripping with sarcasm. Maybe this is karma for how you treated my bag, tossing it on the floor. A lousy wife like you deserves to suffer the consequences and stay behind in America. I don't have time to deal with this. You're on your own. We're leaving without you, she declared callously. Goodbye, Olivia laughed mockingly, filling me with anger at her callous words. This wasn't just my problem. My bag held everyone's passports. Without it, none of us could return to America. Olivia's expression froze in disbelief. What? Why do you have everyone's passports? She grabbed my arm, her voice rising in alarm. Emma, who had been listening intently, stepped in to clarify. We were concerned about losing them with all the luggage, so Mark took charge of them. You might have forgotten because you were busy, Mom, Emma explained gently. Olivia reacted sharply. Is that so? I must have been distracted and forgot. But why were the passports with you and not Mark? That's odd, she accused, her tone accusatory. Mark had too much to carry, so I've been holding on to them since we left the hotel, I explained calmly. Olivia's temples pulsed visibly as she exclaimed, Why did you mention something so important? I had no idea your bag contained everyone's passports. I would have kept a closer watch if I had known. I struggled to believe her words. What do you mean? You took your eyes off my bag earlier. If you didn't know about the passports, was my bag stolen? Emma, looking pale and alarmed, confronted Olivia. Mom, please explain. Was Madison's bag really stolen? I have no idea if it was stolen. It was simply gone when I noticed, Olivia retorted coldly, stating with her arms crossed, unapologetic. I can't believe this. It's so irresponsible. Just then, Mark and the others returned, noticing our distressed expressions. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Mark asked, his concern evident. I quickly recounted the situation, and Mark sighed deeply, casting a disappointed glance at Olivia. This is serious. We need to search for the bag immediately. Mark and I shared a confirming glance. I left it right here, Olivia. You specifically asked me to place it here. I gestured towards the corner where all our luggage had been placed. It only took us about 15 minutes to return from the restroom. It must have been taken during that brief window. Olivia, where were you? I asked, noticing her arms crossed defensively. I was right here the whole time, keeping an eye on the bags, Olivia replied firmly. I wouldn't have wandered off, especially with everyone's important luggage. But your bag was on the edge, out of my direct line of sight. I'm only human. I can't be perfect, Olivia said, turning away. Let's file a theft report and check the surveillance cameras. The thief might still be nearby. We should act fast. Mark began to approach airport personnel, but Olivia grabbed his arm. Hold on a moment. Filing a theft report seems extreme. It would be more practical and faster to get the passports reissued, Mark said, shaking off her grip. We'll still need a police report for passport security, then we can proceed to reissue them at the embassy. Checking the surveillance footage could also help us recover the bag, Emma interjected, aligning with Mark's plan. That's right, Mark. We should move quickly, Olivia countered defensively. This is all her fault. She should take charge of finding the thief herself. Police involvement is unnecessary when she can handle it. She grew increasingly furious, launching into a tirade. Emma swiftly interjected, That's not fair. Madison didn't cause this. Mom, you should admit you didn't watch the bags properly. Don't blame her. Emma spoke up on my behalf, voicing what I had wanted to say to Olivia. Mark, showing his support, placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. Madison won't be searching alone, Mom. Why are you so against filing a theft report? Olivia appeared unsettled. It's not that. I've never dealt with the police before, so I'm hesitant. I'd rather handle it ourselves if possible. All right, I'll join in the search too. Let's split up and look around, Olivia asserted, attempting to redirect the conversation towards finding the thief. Just then, a young man approached Olivia. Ah, there you are. I've been looking for you, he exclaimed. I found this bag and thought you might be in trouble after leaving it behind. I'm glad I caught you. Your trip could have been ruined. He handed over my bag, bringing relief to the tense situation. Where did you find this bag? I asked him, taken aback. The lady left it on a table in the lounge over there. I tried calling out to her, but she didn't hear me and disappeared into the crowd. So I've been searching for her, he explained, leaving us stunned. She left it in the lounge. Without a second thought, the young man handed the bag to Olivia. Please be more careful. You're fortunate I found it. Someone else might have taken it. We expressed our gratitude profusely. Turning to Olivia, who stood frozen, we demanded, Mom, what's going on? How do you explain the bag being left in the lounge? Mark's voice trembled with anger. No need for explanations, Mom. You intentionally left Madison's bag in the lounge, didn't you? And you weren't keeping an eye on any of our luggage either. She wasn't lying about any of this. It's unbelievable that you would treat Madison this way, leaving her bag in a distant lounge. You were trying to avoid the security cameras because you knew they would reveal what happened, Emma said, looking at Olivia with clear disdain. I quickly checked the bag's contents, passports, wallets, and mobile phones, all safe. We were incredibly fortunate that such a kind person found it. Relieved yet seething with anger, I turned to confront Olivia. How could you do this, Olivia? Why would you behave like that? I demanded, my frustration palpable. Olivia responded, unrepentant. Well, she threw my precious bag on the floor, and I was upset. I'm not the villain here. Who would have guessed that this shabby bag held everyone's passports? It was a moment of frustration in the lounge. I didn't leave your luggage unattended, so don't misinterpret it. Olivia defended herself defensively. That's enough. Mark interjected loudly. What do you think of Madison? I've always known how hard you've been on her since we got married. I kept hoping you'd change, but I was wrong. I failed to understand her pain. I'm sorry, Madison, Mark apologized sincerely, his words bringing tears to my eyes. Mark turned resolutely to Olivia. Mom, deliberately mishandling someone else's property is akin to theft, whether you realize it or not. Reviewing the surveillance footage will reveal what happened, he stated firmly. Olivia was visibly stunned by Mark's words. Wait, Mark, you're not seriously considering involving the police, are you? We're family, and Madison is your wife, even if only through marriage. There's no crime in a mother taking her daughter's bag, Olivia pleaded, looking at Mark with desperation. Mark's face hardened as he responded bitterly. That reasoning is absurd, Mom. Your first step should be apologizing to Madison, not trying to avoid responsibility. Using our family bond as an excuse is embarrassing for a mother. We won't report this to the police, but we're severing ties with you. Don't show your face to Madison or me again. We'll be taking a different flight home, Mark declared firmly, taking my hand in a show of support. Please, Mark, hold on. This is too sudden. I can't accept this. Give me a chance to apologize and make amends. I'm begging you, Olivia pleaded desperately, her voice tinged with remorse. Olivia clung to Mark's feet, trying to stop him. But Mark, this is disgraceful. Please stop, Emma intervened, pulling Olivia away. With tears streaming down her face, Emma and her husband escorted Olivia away, leaving Mark and me alone. Are you sure about this, Mark? Cutting ties with your mom? I asked, concerned. It's necessary. You're the most important person in my life. I should have protected you better. He replied, embracing me warmly. We managed to book a different flight home. returning to our normal lives without Olivia. Emma also decided to distance herself from her mother. We moved far away from Mark's family home, completely severing ties with Olivia. It seemed Emma had also chosen to keep her distance. 6 months after our trip to Australia, I discovered I was pregnant. Olivia would never know or meet this child. In our peaceful new town, free from Olivia's influence, we look forward to our future. My only wish is for Mark, our baby, and me to